Welcome to the Smart CEO Smart Chat. I am Kyra Hardwick, and I am thrilled to be here with you. Thanks for tuning in. We hope that this episode will be an incredible influence on the way that you do the work that you do every day. So whether you're a smart CEO, working from home, working from the office, simply navigating your life and family, whatever it is, today's the day you made a great decision to tune into our podcast and get this smart talk. So let's dig in.
Welcome back to yet another episode of the Smart CEO podcast. I am today's host, Alina Conley, and I am program manager for the Smart CEO Capacity Builder cohort. I am also the senior director of people and coaching development at the Kyra Company. And today I am joined with Chef Pam from Miss C's Homestyle. Cooking, is that at the end? Is it Homestyle?
No, it's Miss C's Homestyle.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I didn't leave anything off. Miss C's Homestyle out of Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And so let's just start at the beginning. How did you decide that you wanted to take a more entrepreneurial route versus a more traditional 9-to-5 route?
I do know now that I've always been an entrepreneur. There's a story when I was young, I put tags on everything in the house. My mama said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm gonna have me a clothing store." So I knew then that was to be my journey. I worked in corporate America as an administrative or an executive assistant for about 25 years. But then it became clear that I needed my freedom. From there, I became a real estate agent. I am currently a broker, as well as some other businesses. So this has been my journey, and food is where I land.
I love it. So when we think about food, I always joke because I did not learn how to cook growing up. And I remember going to college, and it seemed like all of my friends who knew how to cook were raised or grew up in a household with their grandparents. And so I was always jealous because I'm like, why did my mama teach me how to cook? And so it was so interesting because this past weekend, I was in Chicago for one of my friend's birthday, and the chef for the weekend was her college roommate. And she told the story of how, she didn't know how to cook, right? She was the only roommate in the house that didn't know how to cook, but yet she turned out to be a chef. She was just determined to be that person. I want to hear your cooking story or your love for food. What was that journey like for you? Was it a family tradition passed down, or was it like, hey, I got to learn how to survive on my own? What was your journey with that connection?
I think it was a combination of it all. But as I look back, she's gone on now, but Aunt Bobby was my mentor. I didn't know it at the time, but I'm from Baltimore and we had moved to DC, so we would go back and forth. And I'm from that era where it went like this. I got two brothers. Said, "Boys, you go out there on the stoop and play. Pam, you come with me." And it was in her kitchen. I swear it was no bigger than a closet, but there was just so much love there. And I look back now and realize that's where that came from. So what I do today is a tribute to her and continuing on that legacy of cooking with love.
So at what point did you know that you wanted to start enterprising? Because it's one thing to cook for family and friends, and then it's a whole different thing to turn it into a business. And we know that when it comes to the restaurant industry, it is one of the hardest to start a business with food because it is very competitive. So talk to me about when you decided that you wanted to actually turn it into an enterprise for yourself.
I tell people I've been cooking since 2006 for folks, and it came about roughly 2015 or so. I needed to bring the legal legs to it. I actually started cooking in front of bars. You hear me? Nobody, my family thought I was crazy. What are you doing out there that late? And all of that. But that's where this journey began. In several occasions, I tried to let it go. After those opportunities, its season was over. I said, let me just go on and do something else. Again, I was a broker, so get back into that. But just as I decided that I wanted to shut it down, God had some other plans for me because some of the people that I was feeding in the bars. One of them turned out to be a manager of Home Depot and Scottsdale, and she wanted me to do an employee thing. So when I wanted to stop, I couldn't. So
Mm-hmm.
I have now, I believe in my heart of hearts that the food that I cook and with love, it passes through that. I
Mm-hmm.
know there's an old saying, you never cook when you're angry, and I deliver that love in my food. You can taste it. I know you can.
So when you say you used to cook in front of bars, what do you mean? Like it was a bar and then you would just set up like a grill outside, or what was like your setup? And we go
That's
further.
exactly what it was, baby. Because when I decided I was going to cook, I looked at bars in the city that didn't serve food. And we already know cooking and drinking go together.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to approach one bar locally here. And the man said, I don't think it'll work, but go ahead and go for it. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I was there for a couple of weekends. And when I first went out, I said, God, if I can just sell 7 dinners, then I'll be all right. But I sold more than seven. I sold nine. So
Mm-hmm.
that put me over the mark. But another bar owner was in the bar that night and gave me an opportunity at his location, which was out front. So not only did I get the patrons of the bar, but people who were coming up and down that street as well. So that's how that all started. And yes, I did. And I tell people this story. The place where I was cooking was probably not the savoriest place for me to be. But I do know that God took care, because unfortunately there were homeless people. There was some other activity going on in the area. And one guy asked me for a chicken wing. And when I turned around to give him the chicken wing, I said, no, he needs a whole dinner. He didn't ask me for my arms, my legs, or my side. He was hungry. So that's when I came up with the thing, nobody goes hungry on my watch. And I hold that to this day. If I know you're hungry and you need some help. So that's how this all got started, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being part of the community.
I love it. Now, do you have a signature dish, or what is your style of cooking?
Of course, that style of cooking comes from a southern base, if you will, even though we were on the East Coast, and there was still that West Virginia or South Carolina, Richmond, Virginia, that was still part of that. So it comes from a southern base. But you know what? I'm finding out more and more. Any meal that you ask for, you know what I'm saying? Again, it's that love and that energy you put into the meal. So
Mhm.
pretty much whatever you would like, I do have the luxury of having folks around me from different cultures. So we're able to bring that authentic taste to
Mhm.
you. And
Mhm.
as far as the favorite dish, one of the dishes that I get asked for a lot is a pan-seared chicken. We use a buttered garlic Yukon Gold mashed potato with
Mhm.
grilled asparagus. So that kind
Mhm.
of is something that I get asked about often.
Making me hungry. When you think about your experience in the program, we have those three pillars that we talked about over the last 6 weeks. So we have collaboration, bankability. We also talked a lot about supply chain readiness. Was there anything that really resonated with you the most over the last 6 weeks?
Absolutely. I think, well, first of all, that collaboration and the camaraderie, it's absolutely my honor and pleasure to be amongst folks of their caliber doing their thing. So being able to have that resource to talk with other entrepreneurs, this can be a very lonely game when you don't have that circle around you in which you can throw ideas and get information from. And then as far as the business itself, there's several components that I took away from this journey that will help strengthen my business. It's stuff that I can put in play, and it will make a difference in the business as we move forward.
Mm-hmm. Now, we know that every business has its challenges. What do you feel like has been some of the challenges that you've experienced as a growing business?
I think, I know, one of the challenges I can honestly say, of course, as your business grows, you have to grow too. So
Mm.
there are elements in that growing stage of your business in which you get a little wiser and smarter as well as you move the business. I think for me right now, the challenge would be for me to possess my own kitchen space. Right now is a challenge. So what does that turn into? Funding. so I can do my own thing. And definitely the program has given me the tools that I need to be able to approach that. But I think overall, it's just that the challenge is, for me right now, I'm at a point where I got to let go. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard. It's hard because I've been pulling my red wagon for a long time. So I'm going through that growth process as well as the company. But we'll get there. I don't know how to quit.
I was going to say, what do you think that letting go looks like? And I think that this is good for those business owners that are listening, because this particular cohort was very unique, because we took businesses who are at that stage where they're ready to scale, right? You've had some success, you've been in the game for quite a while, and the only way for you to grow is to expand, is to let others help you get those employees. So I want to hear from you. What does letting go look like in order for your business to grow?
It is essential. And as much as I want to hug all of it, I am now going to have to position myself or do my due diligence or whatever it takes to get the right people on my team so that I can go and do what I do best. And let's talk about Miss C's Homestyle. I've been told over and over again, Pam, it's you. so so I need to be able to share my story, share my journey with that, and let loose of some of these other pieces, i.e., social media marketing. I'm looking, yeah, I take care of my own books right now, financial books, but that's something that I want to look at because we need to keep that updated and on point. So
Mm-hmm.
those are some of the things that we are looking to do in order for the business to grow. But I must let go. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? It's like your kids grown up, right? You gotta let them get on that bike and ride, okay? How else is gonna learn if you don't let go? So
Yeah.
I'm at that point where we definitely need to expand the
Yeah.
core group.
I loved watching you be so vulnerable over these last 6 weeks, because I could see the tug of war between you, like getting recommendations from your peers around how you could delegate more. I remember another chef was saying, oh, when it comes to just even your onboarding process, there are probably things that you could let other people do. And you were like, I like to talk to my initial people first. And she was like, you don't have to. And I could see in your eyes, you were just thinking about what it would be like letting it go, but knowing that needs to be like the next stage. And so I thought that was really beautiful to watch you just phase through those spaces of considering what the next phase could look like. Also, there was that time where we were talking about AI, and I could see like the light bulb just going off for you. Talk to me a little bit about that. What was, because I know that after we had that session, you said that you went and explored it a little bit more. What was it like for you in the cohort learning about how to use AI within your business?
It was more of a confirmation
Mm.
because I had been exposed to AI and the use in business and things like that. And yes, initially I was a little put off because I'm going, I don't sound like no robot. They need to hear me say, baby doll, they need to hear me. So that was that was one of the big transitions for me, is to make sure that my voice was not lost. And just real quick, I had a young man working with me years ago, helping me with social media, right? So he posted something and it was a picture of my catfish. But then he went on to type, I was at the lake and went, I ain't go to no like that wasn't me. So that it was something like that, lost me on that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the bottom line, I have and I am embracing AI.
Mhm.
You talked about that first touch contact. I
Mhm.
do. I got to talk to my people.
Mhm.
However, the rest of that conversation, where my son's working with me, finding ways to interject AI so I can be freed up to go on and do some other things. So it
Mhm.
is. I'm bringing it in. I'm
Mhm.
bringing it in. So we're
Yeah.
definitely looking forward to what it can do. He's got some great ideas, and I'm all ears
Hmm.
now.
Yeah. So let's talk about innovation a little bit, because when it comes to cooking, I always like to think of it as an art, but also a science, because you're coming up with these meals, but you also have the chemistry side of it. Like you just have to have the right amount of this and the right amount of that. And then it's like the presentation of it, but then you also have to have like math. So you're thinking about inventory, and do we have enough containers, and do we have enough napkins or whatever, right? How do you kind of balance like that dance between the art of the craft and also the business mind that you need to get it out the door?
You know what? As I look at the whole picture, it's all one. However, when I am with the food, it's a zen place for me. It
Mhm.
really is. It's not just putting items and things together. And that process of cooking with love is a layering of seasonings. You put it in until it tastes right. And when your head snap back, then you know you got it. So now it's ready. Now we're ready to serve. And presentation is everything. People begin to eat with their eyes. So
Mhm.
it's really important that I continue to master that art of presentation. So that's still ongoing. But yes, it all comes together when I first take on the task. I look at what I need and then just go from there. And that's everything from the food right down to the packaging. And if
Mhm.
I'm transporting it somewhere, definitely I have to take in consideration that transportation and how to get it from one point to the next safely.
Yeah. When it comes to just seasonal dishes, do you ever pick your dishes based on the weather or the time of year? Right now, we're going into the holidays. What would you typically have on the Christmas menu?
For Christmas. And you know what? And I pretty much stay with the tradition. I haven't broken it. And that's because the kids go, Ma, we. What about what we've been having? Anyway, so traditionally, I cook a little lighter on Christmas. So that would probably be like a honey glazed ham, some
Mhm.
homemade potato salad, maybe some seasoned green beans or some more collard greens. So
Mhm.
we just keep it there and cornbread. And you're right. I know in our culture there are different foods and stuff. So as we move into the new year, here come the black eyed peas and the collard greens, those traditional things. And I think that's where I am now. Because I'll tell you right now, baby, I cook the food you grew up on. You won't see no smoke coming out of my food. All right. And there'll be enough food on there for you to consume. And
Mhm.
that I chose that way. Somebody was saying, well, you need to do high end. No, because I'm all about the regular folk. And I know that as we get older and move away from home and all of that, we miss those meals that have a story. And
Mhm.
that's what I keep alive. That.
Mhm. Yeah. Absolutely. I know sometimes that's it's just the craving. Me and my husband, I'm just like, I just want some soul food. I don't want any other takeout. And I'll just try to find something. I don't necessarily feel like cooking it that night, but you just need it depending on how you feeling that day. And I think that's beautiful. So say someone's listening right now and they're considering applying for the next cohort of Smart CEO. What advice would you give them?
The advice would be not to hesitate
Mm.
in joining the program. You will be better for it as long as you're open to it. If you're looking at signing up with the program, then that means you're ready to move your business forward. And you need that information, those resources that would help your business get to that next level. So, again, my recommendation is do not waste any time. Get involved because as a result, you and your business will grow.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. If you all that are listening are interested in connecting with Chef Pam, you can check her out on our Smart CEO community, which you all can become members of by visiting smartceos.com. And we look forward to seeing you hopefully apply for our next cohort in the spring. And we will see you on the other side. Thank you so much for joining us today.
All right. And thank you.
Thanks for listening to Smart Chat. Smart CEOs, you are on your way. We hope this episode has been fantastic for you. We are excited that you were here. So here's the deal. Follow us on all of our social media, look up the Kyra Company, and join us on all of our private platforms. We invite you to join our private Facebook group at the Smart CEOs. Jump in, join the conversation, and learn more about what we can do every day to grow our business and grow our community. Thanks so much for joining us. We're excited that you were here. Once again, I'm Kyra Hardwick, and you know it. I was thrilled to bring the Smart Chat to you. Take care. Talk to you soon.